What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex. In this video, I want to discuss the rumor that there is going to be a PS5 as well as a PS5 Pro that will launch together. They'll launch alongside each other when the PS5 releases this fall. So I kind of want to go over this rumor and talk about if I believe it. We've talked a lot about the PlayStation 5 on this channel, and we will totally be continuing it as we lead up into it. So if you guys like these kind of videos, these more rumor-like videos, I guess, of PlayStation's console, make sure you let us know by liking the video, sharing it. Make sure you guys are subscribed and have that bell icon on, all of that good stuff. So let's go into this. Now, I do not want to pronounce this guy's name because I know I'm going to absolutely butcher it. So you'll see the picture. According to respected Japanese journalist Zenji, we'll call him just Zenji, Sony is apparently set to release a more enhanced PS5 Pro alongside the standard or a standard PS5 SKU this holiday season. So let's go into exactly what he's been right in the past. He's not always been right. So you do have to take these things definitely with a grain of salt, and I will. And like I said, we'll talk about what I think of this after. So let's see what he said. All right, people, one last time. I heard there are 2 consoles per company. The mid-gen refreshes are going to be introduced at release so that these consoles can run the entire 7-year cycle. So his knowledge from what he knows, he thinks that instead of having that mid-console generation update where we get the PS4 Pro, we get the Xbox One S or Xbox One X, all those kind of things, instead of that, to extend it, we're going to get that at the very beginning. Xbox Series X that was released yesterday is the top-end one, the 12 teraflops. There is a base Xbox Series X that is slower than that one. Sony is releasing 2 PS models. The base PS5 is 9 teraflops. Their other one is also the top of the line to compete with the Xbox Series X's top dog. So I guess the one that we just heard about, the one that Xbox talked about, I believe, last week. This will make sense now as to why people are getting mixed numbers for each of the platforms. I also heard that the top of the line models will be expensive. No pricing, but I would guess around $600. Also, no dates on when the top models will come out for the PS5. My guess is that they're going to release both models at the same time. All right. So again, I don't want to criticize the guy because, he's respected. He's gotten things right in the past, in even regards to PlayStation consoles. So it's not like he's just talking to talk. But, just in my own personal opinion, I really find that hard to believe. Well, here's the deal. I don't want to believe it because I personally think it's a real stupid idea for Xbox, for Microsoft, for Xbox Series X, and for PlayStation or Sony for PS5. I think it's a terrible idea to have 2 consoles come out at launch. I have always thought that, and you could say you're a PlayStation guy. I would criticize Sony just as much as I would criticize Microsoft if that happened. I don't think that's a good idea. The $600, it's a really bad idea right at the top of the right immediately. $600 is too much. And I get it. You're paying because it's going to be like, hey, this is the elite console. But here's the deal. There's all this confusion, and there's going to be all this talk about the backwards compatibility and next-gen versions and current-gen versions of games. You have all of that kind of stuff that's going to keep people into that, because I really think people are going to have a hard time wrapping their head around what these companies are doing with the video games. And now throw in the fact that you can have 2 different consoles, and what specifically is the difference? Because I feel like if you were to release your upgraded console a couple years after your first one, you have an easier time selling people on it because years have gone on. You have more technology, or you've advanced technology. Maybe some things work now that didn't work then. You just made it all work, right? And it's just a better upgraded system. But if you have those release on launch, and again, I said this back with Microsoft when they have their 15 versions of the Xbox One. It's like you got to make it very clear, and you have to sell us on why is it better to buy the upgrade one. And another thing to note is this. Sony has always been one, and I've respected them for this. Sony has always been one to push the next one. I guess PS4 Pro maybe is the only exception. They didn't necessarily shove that in your face and say, hey, PS4 is garbage, you need to buy the PS4 Pro. But for all of their consoles, for the most part, they've said, hey, this next one, you need to get this next console. And we talked about that last week with Microsoft, right? That's the strategy I don't like for Microsoft, where it's they've even said, we don't need you to buy the Series X to make money. Basically they're saying, hey, it's out, but please don't feel obligated to buy it. In fact, don't buy it. We don't care. It's not like we just spent thousands or like millions and millions and millions of dollars on research and all this stuff for this. I mean, we did that, but I mean, who cares? Because you don't have to buy it. And you could say that's over exaggerating. That's literally Microsoft. Phil Spencer has even said that. Like, we do not need to sell those. So like that kind of strategy, I don't like, because then why is it out on store shelves? Why are we going to the next generation of consoles if you're not even going to push it? If you don't even care if we get the upgraded one? So how does that all connect? Well, for PlayStation, if this is true, it's like the Sony's never really been one to do that, because if you have that happen, why would I buy? Well, okay, I guess the obvious answer is, why would I buy the PS5 over the PS5 Pro? Well, you'd buy it if you don't want to drop that extra 100. But if you're already going to upgrade and it's only an extra, and now only is, $100 is a lot of money. I understand that. But if you already, like me or anybody, and there's tons of people even in our community, right? If you guys are going into the fall saying, I'm expecting to drop $500 just on the console, and then you're like, well, I know I'm going to get the controller, I know I'm going to get some games, I'm ready to spend like $1,000 this fall, but I'm ready, I've saved up. If you're like a teenager, right? Like, I've saved up money, or I'm pulling all of my like Christmas gift and birthday gifts, I'm pulling all the other, or if you're an adult, right, you've just saved up, or you're ready for it, all that kind of stuff. But then it's easy. It actually is easy to just say, well, I'm going to get the $100 more. But then, like, the PS5 doesn't sell. So why would you have both? And again, I get it, like, if people don't want to get it, but it's going to be tough to sell a next-generation console anyway. People aren't as willing nowadays. For some reason, I feel like people are less inclined right now to spend the money on a next-gen console than they were maybe back with the PS4. But it seems like more and more people are less inclined to buy this next generation of consoles if it's too expensive. And so you have two versions of it come out. And not just that, the same day, so this fall, we're going to get two Xbox Series X's and two PS5s. And maybe even within another year or two, we get a new Nintendo Switch. But again, like, then there's all the games thing. And what does the PS5 Pro actually do? What's the difference? I know you can tell me 12 teraflops to 9, but what can you even see that? And you could say, oh, of course you can. But like, really, the casual gamer, if you're getting it, are you gonna notice day one the difference? Are you truly gonna? Because I just feel like it's a really, really bad. And I get it. And what he says makes sense, right? The reason why people are getting all these numbers, like that, why they're getting like these two completely different things for consoles, it could just be because there are two consoles. I get that, but from all of the rumors that we've gotten in the past, it's just because Sony is kind of holding off on stuff. They don't know if they can make certain things work, right? They've dropped actually technology from the PS5 because it would be too expensive, but they've invested in like cooling fans so it doesn't make the loud noises. But like, they're trying things out. They're not sure if they're going to include certain things, and specifically because of price. They don't want it to be too expensive because they want to compete with the Series X. So like, it kind of contradicts that, because then it's like, well, they're doing that, but at the same time, the other one, they're just like, screw it, we're just going to do it. We're just going to have all of these expensive things, we're going to throw it in, and we're going to make it whatever price we want to make it, and we're going to give both of them out the same day and see which one people want. I just really don't, not just do I think it's a bad strategy, because I just, me personally as a human being, I don't believe that's a good strategy at all, but secondly, it doesn't really jive with anything Sony. Now, maybe Microsoft does. I mean, there's been talk for years that Microsoft would do these kind of things like back in the day, or will do these things for their next generation console. I mean, this is not news for Microsoft. If Microsoft does this and they have two Series X's, I honestly wouldn't be surprised. And I honestly wouldn't be surprised if it's a total failure for them, because I think it will be. And again, like, if Sony does it, I'd say the same thing. I think it would be a total failure for Sony. So like for Microsoft, again, it's been rumored for like at least 4 to 5 years that they may do this. So it's not all that surprising. But for Sony, it doesn't line up, I think, with anything Sony has ever done. And so I just really can't believe they would jump into this, because again, I really just don't think this is a good idea at all. Like, some of the things make sense. It makes sense to do it a couple years down the line. I guess I get the thought, but like, here's the deal. If you, even following his line, like, they want it to last 7 years. So instead of a mid-generation update, they're just going to do it at the very start. But like, don't you think still within 3 to 4 4 years, you're going to find things that work better, work faster, are cheaper, all that kind of stuff where you can still, like, you could probably have a PS5 Pro in 3 years. Even if you have the Pro at launch, you can still have a mid-generation update. And I wouldn't put, especially Microsoft, but Sony did it too with the PS4 Pro. I wouldn't put it past either of them to do that. So then why would you have two of them? Why would you have one launch at launch with your base model, and then 3 to 4 years down the line, you do another one just to keep the console cycle running? Like, I don't think, basically what I'm saying is I don't think doing a Pro year one or even day one, I don't think that would stop them from doing a mid-gen update to kind of keep it going. I really don't think that affects it, and I think he thinks, and I don't think, he said it, that's their plan, or that's that's their line of thinking, but I really just don't agree with it. So guys, let me know in the comments below. I mean, what do you think? There's a lot to unpack here for sure. Do you think that the PS5 is going to launch alongside a PS5 Pro? Let me know any of the things that I talked about. If you guys agree or disagree, would love to hear it in the comments below. Again, make sure you guys are subscribed to our YouTube channel Podcast Now. Have that bell icon rung so you guys know when all of our videos go up. We do videos every single day on this channel, so again, very important that you guys know when they come out. So thank you all so much for watching, guys. I truly, truly appreciate it. I hope to see you all on the next video.